Welcome to today's episode of Real Business Roundtable. Today we want to talk about how to handle opinions and comments and critiques from third parties, aka competitors. Every once in a while, you'll be working with a client for a while, doing your thing. It could be any industry, doesn't matter. You're always going to have some shithead hater on the side going, yeah, I'd do it like this. He didn't do it right. Shitting on your work. Say you renovate bathrooms and you did a great job for somebody. You're always going to have some shithead on the side. You know, someone that hates themselves. They hate their lives. They want to ruin your business. They sit there and they critique and they shit talk, pretending almost like an armchair expert. Everybody has their secret sauce. Everybody has their process. The client hires that company for their process, their secret sauce. Not everybody is a cookie cutter copy of the same thing. That's what people do at trade shows or conferences. They all sit there, teach us all the same thing, like drones. There's no unique elements. There's no, you have best practices, but like you gotta create something that's unique. Create a process. Have proprietary things under the hood that make you really, I guess you could say, a special person or a special company in your industry that makes you attractive. So you'll always have that third party that's going to critique your work. What I would recommend for business owners when they do run into this, because you will, say you're a restaurant and you got some shithead talking about your recipes. Oh, they put too much salt in that and they do this. You just respectfully say, well, that's how you make yours. You stick with yours. Don't shit on mine. Don't run your mouth. So the way to handle it professionally is to first step back. Don't overreact, but explain to whoever it is that's kind of sticking their nose in it. For example, say it's you and a client. The contract or the agreement or the bill of goods is between you and the client. And then you have a shithead right here, the lamp. Oh, I would do it this way. I would do it that way. And you're like this, right? Mr. Client, I just want to explain to you that, but. Mr. Client, Miss Client, I want to explain to you that the way that we do things has been proven for 17 years with solid results and a proven track record. Now, aside what Mr. Annoying Lamp here is trying to say, aside what this person over here is trying to say, you got to look at the proof here. Now, let's look at the progress. Let's look at what we've brought to the table. I think we're obsessing about the process, but no. The lamp has his own process. That has nothing to do with us or our process. Let's look at the progress that we've made together, the outcome. That's what matters, not the process. That's like obsessing and going into a factory and obsessing about how many turns of a screw somebody made when putting two pieces of metal together. You're getting the end product. So that's what really matters. It's the reason why it's important to talk about today is because small businesses deal with this crap on occasion where either a third party, a consultant, someone who knows a cousin or someone who went to school but they've never actually accomplished shit, someone who says they have a bunch of experience and knowledge and they stick their nose in it. Again, I always stress you got to be as patient and as respectful as possible in these situations. But, take it with a grain of salt, stand your ground, and reassure and explain to the client that you have your process, you have your secret recipe, you have your secret sauce that makes you, that makes your company unique. So stand behind it and be able to like not I guess you could say don't bend. And don't bend over some knucklehead sticking their nose in your business. Don't feel like inadequate or don't question yourself. Now, if it's something major, like a safety concern, and you're not following safety regulations, say you're building homes and you didn't use the right size lumber, you got to fix your shit, okay?
Then you have to be accountable. And
if you're doing a good job, you're following best practices, you're doing all those things, and somebody comes in, starts talking shit, just stand your ground and be confident.
Yeah, it's all about, it's inevitable. It's going to happen, especially in the service industry. And honestly, like, knowing that it's inevitable, I feel like the only way to manage it is to prepare for it. And so in our case, you know, in any service industry case, it's very important to have proof of service, proof of work, proof of results, you know, stuff like that, as well as case studies and trust. Trust with the person that you're talking to, trust with your client, trust with the prospect. It's very important from the start to gain trust with that person, because I can tell you right now, I've talked to people about the technology we provide or the services we provide. And after I talk to them, they go directly to their service provider of the thing that I'm trying to do, of the competitor. I'm not necessarily coming in saying, you know, they're not doing it right. I'm not the type of person to do that. But
I always say it's different.
It's different. Yeah. But you want to be prepared for that. It's like I said, it's inevitable. We've seen it happen tens of times, a bunch of times, but every single time we almost expect it. So we're prepared for it, and we've gained that trust. We have the proof of results. We have the proof of service, and we have a way to explain that a lot of our processes are proprietary and the results are driven. So, you know, it's all about preparation. It's all about knowing that it's going to happen. And either way, understanding that, you know, and using that preparation to explain to your client, even if there's no third party talking about what you're doing, will help gain trust. They'll say, okay, we see results coming in. We have monthly meetings with our clients, weekly meetings with our clients to explain that what we're doing, the proprietary processes that we're implementing, are working and driving results.
That's what matters, is the results.
Exactly.
That's what matters. If you're getting the results that you want, other people's opinions don't matter.
And the client will understand that when you explain those results to them.
Yeah, but sometimes people, unfortunately, in business, they obsess about the process.
And
look at the results. Hold on, twinkle. Results. If you're getting great results, don't try to fix something that's not broken. Even though I don't know what we want to call this lamp, but even though the lamp is like, hey, you know, blah, 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 and trying to commoditize what you're doing and put down what we're doing, but it's producing results, 99.9% of the time, that person's opinion or bullshit is malicious, and they're just trying to take your business away. That's all they're trying to do. Every once in a while, we'll deal with a third-party consultant, and they actually say, those guys are really good at what they do. And I'm like, yes, sir. But then we'll get a shithead that, unfortunately, like, doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah. And
like, for example, we did an episode on SEO is not dead. I actually had a guy, like, people who read the headlines, they just read headlines, they don't actually read the story. There's a guy that owns a digital marketing agency that runs an ad that says SEO is dead, which is farthest from it. It's very alive. And I think he does it for attention. It works. It captures attention. But I actually had a digital marketing consultant say to me on the phone, who was sticking his nose in one of my clients. He goes, man, SEO is dead. I was like, dude, what planet are you on?
It's almost as bad as telling him he's lying.
If you see this ad online, it says SEO is dead, look at the comments. Dude, people are ripping this guy apart. We created an episode because I was getting so fired up over this ad. I go, this ad is it's brainwashing people to think that something completely wrong is true. So he was like a headline reader, and he said that to me on the phone. I'm just telling you right now that you have to assess who's giving you the third party that's giving you an opinion or giving your client their opinion.
Yeah.
You have to assess who it's coming from.
Well, so I was
you have to say, okay, Mr. Lamp, what's your credentials? How many companies have you driven multiple millions in sales? Let's look at your roster. Let's look at your track record. What have you accomplished? Aside from maybe having one or two couple ice cream shops that you did a website for free, let's talk about your actual accomplishments and then talk to me.
Well, it's also
you have to look at who it's coming from.
I know, and I'm gonna get to that. So people obsess over process, But then people, unfortunately, also obsess over price. And so a lot of the time, these third parties will come in and they'll talk about how we can do it cheaper. You're getting the same thing for a lot cheaper. And a lot of people will like that idea. A lot of your clients will really like that idea. And you're kind of referring to those type of third parties. But the thing is, that's when you have to understand it's not always about their achievements, their amount of the clients, their amount of this. You have to have a good understanding of the competition and the industry. You have to understand that so you can justify the value you add and at the price that you provide with the results driven. So this all has to do with trust at the same time too, because, someone could go to them and say exactly what I said before. We can do the same thing, but for cheaper. If you have that trust with that client, they'll come to you and say, hey, is this true? I can get this for cheaper. And then you explain to them the product and the justification of the price and all that sort of stuff. But,
when it comes to especially digital marketing services or even whatever,
anything service,
you don't shop on price.
No.
When you shop on price and you look for the cheapest, you're getting lower quality. I understand if someone just can't afford something. That's totally fine. But if you have the ability to have a nicer kitchen or a better home addition put in that will last 30 years longer, don't shop on price. If you're going to shop on price, yeah, you're going to commoditize all the construction companies that you're talking to or whoever. If you're shopping on price for food, you're going to get shit restaurants with shit food, shit ingredients. It applies to almost every single industry. You get what you pay for.
Ready? Sparkles. Spend money to make money.
You get what you pay for. Twinkle. Here we go.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today on Real Business Roundtable. Please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so that you get notified every single time we post a new episode. Also, don't forget to check us out on Instagram for clips, updates, more, and yeah, peace out.